champion of the world, from Omaha, Nebraska.
In favor of the winner, remaining undefeated, proving he is one of the elite champions of the sport.
The fight, it is over. Canelo gets the knockout. Deontay Wilder has eradicated Dominic Brazil. He is the...
Yo, 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 yo. You know what this is, man. It's your favorite channel, man. It's CTB. It's Chin Tuck Boxing. I'm your boy, Jay Slay. So what up to him, man?
What's up, everybody? Remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification button, comment. Let's keep this channel growing. You know why? Because we love boxing and you love boxing.
That is a fact, most definitely. You yourself a favor, man. Subscribe to the channel. We have been slacking lately on the content, but it's because family issues coming up, you know. But we will be back on our regular schedule soon. So just hit the subscribe button for us, man. Hit that thumbs up button if you agree with our content. And hit the thumbs down button if you disagree with our content. But with that being said, man, we got a big fight coming up, man. So what we giving them today, bro? What we talking about?
Let's talk about this big fight tomorrow night. Plant versus Canelo. Let's give our thoughts on the fight, predictions, and maybe we'll talk about the odds a little bit.
All right, man, chop it up, man. Let's talk about it. Yeah, man, you know how I feel about fight time, man, especially when it's a big fight time. It's like Christmas again, over and over again, man. I love fight time. I love fights of this magnitude. And this fight is basically, it's really, really special because it's for the first ever 168-pound unified, undisputed champion in history. So this is really, really a really, really huge fight for the sport of boxing. And it's a really game fight, man. People are picking their sides. But if people are sleeping on certain people, man, we're going to talk about it. All right, you know how we do, man. We start with the strengths and weaknesses of each opponent. So we'll start with Canelo Alvarez. Now we start with Killer Plant. What is some of the strengths you see Killer Plant has that could give Canelo some issues?
I think the biggest thing with Plant is that he's good on his feet. He can box, you know, and we look at the history of Canelo, everybody he's had trouble with was a natural boxer. You know, if you go back to Laura, even BJ Saunders, he gave him trouble for the first 4 or 5 rounds. I don't think he was throwing hard shots. And I said that that was his problem. He won't really getting Canelo respect. He just started walking through him. But he was winning some of them rounds on the points because he was outboxing Canelo. Same thing with Kovalev. He was winning a lot of those rounds, just boxing on his feet and standing on his, his toes, because naturally, a lot of people that Canelo fight, he's going to be at a disadvantage as far as the reach and height. So a lot of these guys are trying to stay on their feet, stay on the outside, and just kind of steal around. And I think Plant could possibly do that because of his size difference and also because of his boxing skills.
Yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Killer Plant has all the intangibles to win this fight. He's taller, he's longer, he has better feet, he has better. I say his IQ is better with his feet. Canelo does have a high IQ, but he's not really educated with his feet. He gives away a lot of his positioning, and he basically give away when he about to throw a punch with his feet because he has to be set when he throws his punches. Floyd Mayweather took advantage of it. Like you said, Billy Joe seen it in certain spots, took advantage of it. Laura had spots where he took advantage of it. Shit, you can go way back to Austin Trout, even Austin Trout, where he was the first one to actually show Canelo's weakness with his lack of foot speed, foot movement. So I see Killer Plant as having the best chance of any of those guys I just named of beating Canelo. Even though Floyd did beat Canelo, Floyd beating Canelo, and some people asked was a long shot. Nobody seemed to give Mayweather a chance, but he was Mayweather, so you know he was the best in the world at the time. But other than Mayweather, I think Killer Plant has the best chance of beating Canelo Alvarez than other guys. What's some of the weaknesses you see of Plant that Canelo could take advantage of in this fight?
If I had to go with the main one to me is his inexperience. I think that Canelo has been in a lot of big fights. He's used to this. He's been through this probably for the last 5 or 6 years in mega fight. Every fight he has is like one of the biggest fights of the year. So he's used to the media. He's used to the press conference. He's used to the schedule. Killer Plant has never seen anything like this as far as the schedule, as far as the press conference, as far as the crowd, and I guess the atmosphere as a whole. And we really don't know how he's gonna handle that until he gets in the ring. Maybe pressure bust fights. Some people can handle it, and some people think they can handle it, and then they get in the ring and realize it's a whole different, another world of beast. So I'm curious to see is his inexperience in big fights will come to play a factor.
That's a good one. That was actually what I was going to pick. But I'm going to throw something else in there. I'm going to say the dog in him. It's a lot of emotion built in this fight. Canelo, I think Canelo, like you say, used to this platform. He used to be on this level of boxing and fighting. I think people are saying Canelo is acting out of character and saying Canelo looks radical. I think that's by design in some ways. It could be. I think Canelo is making Killer Plant emotional. That way, the lack of experience and the emotion involved with the fight, you know what I'm saying, can help crumble him in the spotlights. So I think he has to remain calm and cool and collective. You can't let Canelo get into his head and make him upset because Canelo is, like you said, he's better under this pressure. He's better under these platforms, under these lights. So we know Canelo can rise to the occasion. So we have to make sure, our player Plant has to make sure that he don't let his emotions get in the way of him. All right, on to Canelo Alvarez, man. What's some of the strengths you see that he will use against Killer Plant?
The number one strength for for Canelo in this fight for me is his counterpunching. I think he's a master when it comes to counterpunching, and I think that's going to be big. If he can counterpunch and catch Plant and time him, I think it can change the whole fight. So if he can't, then it's going to be very interesting. So to me, the most important thing and his biggest strength to me is his counterpunching. So if I had to go with the one that stick out the most, that's what I go with.
I'm gonna go with the body shots. I'm gonna go with body work. Because the only way you're gonna slow down Killer Plant's feet is you put those rounds in the belt. You get his body sore, make his feet slow down. That's how you put them rounds in. Because you know Canelo gonna be down on scorecards, possibly in the first 3 or 4 rounds. In my opinion, I think Canelo gonna be struggling in the first 3 or 4 rounds. But that body work is gonna take effect around the middle rounds, late rounds. And Killer Plant, he's a taller guy. He's a taller man. Like you said, counterpunching the inside. Canelo has great head movement and great inside work. So his body gonna be there to be hit. I think it's gonna slow down Killer Plant's feet. And that's gonna be his best chance of winning it for Canelo Alvarez. What's Canelo's weakness? What's some of the ones you see Killer Plant can take advantage of Canelo? Some of the weaknesses.
I'm gonna pick the pressure on you because I'm gonna take the easy way out, and I'm gonna go with the obvious answer, and I'm gonna say them cement feet of his is his weakness. And we all know his feet he's stationary. He don't move. He has great upper body movement, and that kind of covers up his biggest weakness. But if I had to choose, it is those feet. And Kevin knows that he's gonna stand on his toes. He's gonna try to out steal rounds. And if those slow feet can't catch up with him, he could get behind on scorecards, like you said, and make the back half of the fight very, very interesting. So I go with his feet.
Yeah, that was what I was going to go with. You did tell me I did. This is the easiest. I mean, it's really the easiest answer.
Yeah.
We all know what Canelo brings. We all know he's going to be there. He's going to be the pressure fighter in this fight. But he has cement feet. But like I said, I'm gonna take another pick. I'm gonna say I'm gonna use the size advantage, the overall height and reach advantage. I think Canelo, even though he did make short work of Kovalev, like you said earlier in the video, he did have a little bit of trouble with Kovalev. Killer Plant is the much better boxer than Kovalev. I know Killer Plant hasn't been on this level before, and some people judge his competition level he's been in the ring with lately. But the eye test showed me that he has a higher IQ than Kovalev. He has a higher IQ, you know what I'm saying, than I would say Laura, maybe even Laura. He has a higher IQ than Laura. That plus the size advantage he has over Canelo, the speed's about the same. So I think that will cause Canelo some issues early in the fight, like early. And we'll see what happens, man. But here it is, man. We want to do the odds first or we want to make the predictions first? I forgot how we do it. Do odds first?
We're gonna do odds. We can do the odds right quick.
All right, you break down the odds for the people. You the betting guru, so break down the odds for these people,
man. Pretty much, if you want to go with Plant, the most favorable odds would be for Plant to win, which is pretty much around 7-1 right now. And so pretty much, if you put $100 down, you can win 700. If you want to take the most favorable odds to me, that would be taking him to win by decision, which is 11-1. That means if you drop $100, you can win $1,100. For Canelo, I think the most favorable odds would be for him to win by decision, because you actually will win a little bit of money if you pick him to win by decision. It's almost a straight up bet almost. If you put 100, you win like 85 or something. It's a little bit less, but pretty much other than that, it's almost crazy to take Canelo as far as the knockout or just winning, because pretty much you got to pick $700 to win 100. So to me, they the three most favorable odds for you to pick from. If I had to choose one, I would go with Caleb Plant for a decision, 11-1, because I think that's the most favorable odds.
And in my opinion, that's the only way Caleb Plant, the favorite Caleb Plant to win. So that makes it a safer bet because the general public don't see Canelo being stopped in this fight. No. Caleb Plant is not going to be a heavy puncher, even though he's promising. I think either him and Andre Ward both came out lately and said Canelo will get stopped. This far the team for me. I mean, anything can happen. It's boxing. Anything can happen. Like I told you off camera earlier, everybody said the same thing with Ward for Kovalev. Everybody said Kovalev was going to get stopped by Andre Ward, and they said Andre Ward couldn't bust a grape. But lo and behold, he had Kovalev hurt in both fights, in my opinion. But most definitely in the second fight, he stopped Kovalev. So anything can happen. But like you said, I think the second bet will be Caleb Plant, 12th round decision. All right, man. Here it is prediction time, man. What is your pick for this fight, man? I kind of lost count on our bet, on our wager through the year. We kind of lost track through all the big fights that happening. So we're gonna have to reset the clock at some point, I think. But
yeah.
What's your pick, man?
I think you broke it down a little bit earlier. I think in the first 3 or 4 rounds of fight, I think Plant gonna jump out to an early lead. I think his boxing skills gonna give him trouble. Like you said, if you go back to Laurel, Mayweather, even Amir Khan. Amir Khan won the first 5 rounds before his ass got knocked out. But he won the first 5 rounds of that fight. He was outboxing Canelo. He was too fast on his feet, and those slow feet couldn't catch up. So I think, again, he falls down maybe the first 5 rounds, 4-1. But like you said, you made a good point. I think the counterpunching and the body shots will start to slow Plant down. And crazy as it may seem, I've been thinking about it, and I want to take Plant because he's saying the right things. I like to look in his eye, and I think he got all the skills and the height and the size to make it work. But I think that because Canelo is pissed off, he's gonna stop Plant in round 11. I don't think he's gonna knock him out. I think they'll just stop it because I think he's gonna start beating him up, and I think they'll have to stop the fight. But I think Plant gonna put up a hell of a performance. I think a lot of people are disrespecting Plant, thinking it's an easy fight. And this fight in the first 7 to 8 rounds is gonna be a close fight. It's gonna be almost deadlocked through the first 8 or 9 rounds. But I think he'll pull away and stop him in the 11th round.
I agree with you almost to the T, man, to be honest. Like you said, like I said earlier, the body weight is going to slow down Plant. I think Plant is going to be embarrassing Canelo early, especially in the first 2-3 rounds. I think he's going to be making Canelo miss. Probably even do the Billy Joe Saunders look away a couple times. You know how Mayweather did Canelo in the fight. I'm expecting Caleb Plant to put on a show. I'm expecting him to raise his hands and try to get the crowd behind him and try to frustrate Canelo. Canelo going to stay in his face and going to start laying body shots and stay in his grill. And at some point, those feet are going to slow down, and Caleb Plant is going to have to fight. At some point in this fight, it's going to turn into a fight. And like you said, I think Canelo has the heavier hands, and he's going to catch Plant. I can see a knockout maybe around 8-ish if he catch Plant clean, but I want to root for Plant so bad. Like you said earlier, I want to root for Plant so bad because I want to see an upset in this fight, to be honest, in my honest opinion. I want to see Canelo lose because I think it's a better story. But I can't pick against Canelo in this situation. I think he will catch Plant probably around 8, and then if Plant stay on his bicycle long enough, he might make it to the 11th. So I'm with you on that. I think it's going to be an 11th-round stoppage. I think he's going to, whether it's corner thrower doing the towel or the referee's going to do in the towel, it's going to be I think it's going to be a late stoppage. I can't pick against Canelo. With that being said, man, you got anything else you want to add to this fight, man? It's almost that time.
I think we covered it all. We'll try to do another video after the fight, post-fight, to discuss what actually happened. Can't wait.
Real quick sidebar. Who do you think going to outsell? You think the UFC event? Or you think the Canelo event going to steal the show tonight, tomorrow night? You know, what's the guy's name? Covington.
Covington and that's a big fight in USC. Ooh.
Yeah.
I think it's close. It's like a toss-up because Canelo is such a big star. He's still gonna, a lot of people still gonna tune in, but that's a big fight, man. I'm gonna lean towards Canelo and Plant only because that's a rematch that is Usman, I think his name, Usman.
Yeah.
He kind of dominated the first fight. So you kind of seen this already. Plant and Canelo, you don't know because you haven't seen it. So I think people are gonna favor looking at Canelo and Plant because of that.
I was interested to see, man. It's gonna be 2 events. I'm gonna try to watch both of them and go back and forth. But I'm pretty sure the UFC event gonna do how they normally do with Canelo fights. They're gonna pretty much wait until after Canelo is done fighting before they shoot everything. That'd be the smart thing for them to do because it's Canelo Alvarez, man. Nobody's gonna. He's the pay-per-view queen right now. So, with that being said, man, this is your favorite channel, man. This is CTV. This is Chance Up Boxing. I'm your boy Jay Slay. Say peace to him, man.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification button, comment. Let's keep this channel growing. You know why? Because we love boxing and you love boxing. But most of all, God, peace, and love. And we out of here.